Now, in previous lessons, we learned how we can wrap our images inside a flat button so that when we click on it, we get something happening, namely printing out the words left button got pressed or right button got pressed. Now, that's not very interesting, right? It's not a great app as it is because the user can't see that. We need to be able to update our images depending on when the user presses the button. We know that our images come from our assets, which include all of the images inside this images folder. So that means I can tap into any of the Dicee images that I see here by simply changing that number. So I could change it to a Dicee 4 and I hit save, hot reload happens, and my left die becomes the fourth die. Now, I frequently mess up the plural and singular of dice and die, so just bear with me here. So again, we're not really interested in changing the code and then hot reloading and then changing the image. The user can't do this either, right? We need to somehow link the changing of this one number to the user pressing a button. That way, it actually becomes an app with functionality. What we're going to do is we're going to create a variable up here inside our stateless widget here. And we're going to create the variable by using the keyword var. And we're going to give our variable a name, namely left dice number. And this is going to refer to the number of the die that's going to be displayed on the left. So we're going to change that to equal 1. And now, instead of having this being hard-coded, we're going to delete it and we're going to insert this variable. And to do that in Dart, we're going to use the $sign. So we get to add one variable after the $sign, and this is going to be the left dice number. So now, when I run my app again, you'll notice there's just one problem. If I change this variable now to, say, 5, and I go ahead and I click on hot reload or hit save, the change doesn't actually happen here because remember that I said previously, when we hot reload, the thing that gets rerun is our build method here. So the block of code that's between that curly brace and this curly brace. So everything in between will get triggered again and any changes in there will be reflected here. But if our dice number is outside of our build method, then the change won't be reflected in our app. So I have to cut this and paste it into here. And then if I hit save, then this build method gets rerun, our left dice number gets set to 5, and wherever it's used gets updated. So where we create our variables and where we use them matters a huge deal. But now, instead of having a hard-coded number in here, that is 1 or 2 or 5, we now have a variable that's determining what it is. And so if this variable is equal to 5, then this line becomes images/dice5.png. It gets inserted in here. And this is all because we're able to use variables in Dart to achieve this. So in the next lesson, I want to talk a little bit more about variables in Dart, and especially for those of you guys who are seeing variables for the first time, it'll be really important to understand how they work and especially how they work in Dart. So for all of that and more, I'll see you on the next lesson.